Hi everyone and welcome to Legal Limelight. Today's guest is the amazing Marilyn Chinitz. She is a powerhouse divorce attorney. She's a divorce attorney for the most high-powered women and men in New York, and she also handles divorces for a ton of celebrities that you may know. She's commonly quoted in People magazine, and I'm literally like, I'm not reading a script right now. This woman has so many accolades that I'm like, which ones do I need to share with you? Besides the fact that she's just an absolute amazing human and person. She is Nicole Dahlgren's, our partner's mother. She is our mentor. I'm so excited to introduce to you all Marilyn, who I'm bringing up right now. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Dara. Hi, Steven. Good to see everybody. It's going to be a good one. Hello.
Okay, I wasn't sure I was savvy enough to get on this Instagram. How are you?
I am so good. And I'm sorry, it took me a minute because I was reading I wasn't reading, I was going on and on about your incredible background and how amazing you've been to me and Nicole
Well,
throughout this
I'm
process as
so
well.
impressed with the two of you and your whole group. They're phenomenal. And I'm really proud of
Thank you.
both of you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
glad you got to meet our new litigator. You met Leo the other day. You met
I
the whole
did.
team.
It's very impressive team and very impressive to juggle raising a
Yeah.
family, getting out there and, showing what you do, getting on an Instagram, and marketing and creating a great practice. And that's not easy.
Thank you.
Having done some of it, you've taken to another level, but it's really impressive.
Thank you so much. No, and you've definitely have been such a huge mentor and inspiration to Nicole and I. So I'm really excited to bring you on today and talk to you about your career, your incredible career, where you are today, and advice. So let's get right into it. I know how Nicole got to where she is, and we know her story, but how did you become a divorce attorney?
So that was not my objective. My objective was to go into corporate litigation. And I was working as an intern for a firm, got hired by another very white glove firm, Finley Cumble Wagner, Heine Underberg and Casey, that is no longer around. And I was in law school at the time, and I was doing corporate litigation. And then one of the partners had asked me privately and quietly to help him with his divorce. And I did, and we ended up settling his case. But the process of negotiating and discovery
Wow.
and intimate details, because at that time, New York was still a fault state, means that you had to have grounds for divorce. Inhuman treatment, cruel treatment, every marriage has inhuman and cruel treatment, sexual abandonment. And we didn't have no fault at that time, very different now. So I was able to get into some very juicy details, and I thought, wow, this is great. I really like this.
Wow.
It was very personal and personable, and it had the litigation aspect to it, although we settled in that case. Anyway, that turned me on to a whole nother world, and I thought, I want to do this. So I asked the partners at the firm if I can do a business plan and present to them as to why we should do matrimonial, that it could be a very profitable area of business. And we didn't have cell phones at that time, so I got time allotted to go in to the partner board and present how many cases we refer out and why, it would be profitable and how much we can bill out. And literally, when I left the meeting, I went into my office. The phone rings 5 minutes later, and they said, no, there's no way that they will agree to do matrimonial. They view it similar to ambulance chasing.
Wow.
So sorry, thumbs down. And that firm unfortunately ended up imploding or
Gonna
exploding.
say they're not here
They're
anymore.
not here
They could have
anymore,
been.
but I am. And I ended up deciding to leave there and to follow a dream.
Wow.
So I rented space on 49th and 5th Avenue and I took office space from another matrimonial practitioner. And he said, I won't charge you rent. I'll give you overflow, and you'll work on my cases, and that will be in lieu of paying rent. So I did that. And then Finley Cumble Partners became my biggest referral base. So
Wow.
I started to generate a lot of business. And then I was out in Long Island and I met a lawyer who said, I want you to work with me. And I developed a practice with him. We were 4 lawyers and we developed into a practice of 20 lawyers. And then 18 years ago, I decided to bump it up and to go back to big law. So I became an equity partner at Blank Rome, and very happy that I did.
That is so
Yeah.
incredible. I love that story because I could see you as like a junior attorney being so passionate and discovering this like incredible new world, and to lead with that much confidence to say, I'm doing this new area. Oh, what advice do you have for other people who are thinking about going into new area but are nervous? Like, what advice do you have
So
for those people?
I think you hit the word nervous. You can't be. I think the word fearless is the best word in your
Yep.
vocabulary.
Yep.
And you just have to go for it. And if you don't, you lose out. If you do, you're gonna, sorry, I've got
Oh,
phones all over
you're
the place.
busy.
If you do, um, something's going to open up. One door will open, maybe not all the way, but every opportunity creates another opportunity.
Yes.
So no wasn't in my vocabulary. And if there was a no, it meant no today. It didn't mean never. So with that message, I always continued to drive. I didn't let anybody hurt my feelings. I wasn't thick, thin skinned. Um, and I just kept going. So, and I kind of applaud my parents. My parents were Holocaust survivors,
Wow.
and they really.
Oh yeah, you're good.
It's like every single phone is going. Um, People know if they don't get me in the office, they're going to get me on my personal phone. Um, they raised 3 daughters, saying, "You've got to take care of yourself. Nobody can take care of you."
Yes.
And you've got to be a professional, and you have to um, create a life for yourself. And I applaud them because I'm going to be 69 years old, and I think of that message so many years ago. A lot of parents were telling their daughters, oh, you can become a
Mhm.
secretary and get married to somebody wealthy. That was not the message I grew up with. And
Wow.
it's certainly not the message that Nicole grew up with. So you've got to work hard. There's no substitute for working hard. And this is a different generation now. Not to say that people don't work hard, they prioritize differently. I literally work 7 days a week, not always in the office. I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and it was not unusual for my kids to come downstairs and see papers all over the dining room because from 4 to 8, I got 4 solid hours in.
Yes.
So it's the level of commitment that you want to give. Uh, thank God I have healthy kids. They don't sit in the therapist chair because
No.
along with that work, my husband and I never took vacation without them. The weekends were always spent with our kids. We would have dinners and lunches and invite people over so that the kids were always together. It's the choices that you make.
Oh my gosh. You just made me really emotional. Um, I don't think, wow, I'm sorry. I don't think I've gotten emotional on one of these shows yet because everything you're saying is something I personally have gone through, and not only just me, but all of the people who come on this show also. um, they done the same exact things. It's the hours that you put in when no one's watching, getting up early when you would
Yeah.
love to sleep in, or
Yes.
instead of going on vacation with you and your husband to somewhere exotic, it's bringing the kids, being around people who have the same values as you. Like I literally just got like chills because I've I think you hit on something that has connected all the dots between all the amazing people that we bring on here. And that I see the path because I've gone through it. Hard work that is not just for the sake of being showy, but doing the grind work when no one's really watching.
And that's why I admire both you and Nicole, because you don't often see that. And when you do, then I know that's insurance for success. And they say, and your kids they don't miss out on anything because I see you and you're really present with them. They say if you pay interest, you get dividends. And it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, I like that.
it's the quality of parenting, and it's the quality of advocating. And if you take it for the real joy of finding success for a client, you don't really consider it hard work. It's a great sense of satisfaction. What is very unique in my practice, believe it or not, is when my clients get divorced, that's not the end of them. I end up staying in contact, and I think you were there at a luncheon that I do, which I do every year, and it's about 60 women, and they're present clients, former clients, business women, all women. And it's done really to help former clients see that there's a whole nother life, all the
Yes.
wonderful things, and to make contacts. I cherish the relationships that I have with my clients. And I think that's another really important feature because it's not an assignment, it's a relationship, it's a continuity. And that's how you build a reputation for yourself, a name for yourself. It has longevity. And to me, that's really critically important.
Relationships are everything, and I just want everyone to picture this: being in a room with over 100 of the most powerhouse, incredible women. I sat next to the CEO and founder of one of the biggest companies that people watching this, you've either used them or you at least know of them. And everyone was there just to celebrate Marilyn, but also reflecting on how important she was at a difficult time in their lives. And I watched that and really saw how well you blend, Marilyn. It's not just business, it's more. It's not just a paycheck for you. You are doing this to really help people, and by building a relationship, I think that's what's made you so successful. Is it's not just I'm walking away, but you're really
And
helping them.
connecting people. So I'm very strategic about where I put everybody at the different tables, because I want them to generate business. I want them to generate social relationships. And the friendships and business relationships that have come out as a result of those luncheons are so incredibly voluminous and very rewarding. And so, you share. I see you and Nicole do the same thing. You share the wealth, you share the knowledge. And that's why people are going to come back to you, wanting your advice. And it doesn't have to be law related. If somebody says, you know what, I have a medical issue and I sit on the board of Crohn's Colitis Foundation, I'm going to connect them to doctors. You become the go-to person. And I take great interest in that, and that's unique. So I like that.
So we have new people on our team, and we do business development workshops because it's important and it's a new world. But the core thing that we always say is that relationships are key. So while one of our new hires goes out and gets lunch and he's like, how should I present? How should I present myself? How do I network? How do I build my business? And I said, you just become friends with these people. You just become curious about them, see how you can help them, and build a real relationship. This isn't about quid pro quo. This isn't about, taking something or getting something out of it. It's literally just go have lunch, listen, hear what this person has to say, build a relationship, and then you keep doing that. And I think they say it takes like 6 or 7 points of contacts to like make a sale. So if you keep doing that, at a certain point, that person is going to reach out to you if you guys like each other and if it works well.
So
Or
yeah, I think that there's business opportunities everywhere. And I think that if you're young and you have kids and your kids are playing soccer and you're there, you're creating relationships, you're seeing people, and you're developing naturally, organically, a very fun relationship. And then you start talking about what you do on the soccer field. And if it's a friendship that you like, you say,
yes,
why don't we go out for dinner? Um, you can sit on the bus and sit next to a person and you never know who that person is. I think you can get business everywhere and anywhere. But here's what you got to do. You have to be interesting and you have to be real. If people sense that you're strategizing and I want their business, so I'm going to call them for lunch, after a while it gets annoying. You've got to give them something, and that is a good personality or some interesting tidbits or information. Um, People they want the real deal.
yes.
And so part of it is you have to feel comfortable with yourself. Because I have young associates all the time coming to me and saying, how do you market? Like, what do you do? So not only because of my personality, I connect with people easily, but I also put myself out there. So I run a busy life. I sit on the boards of a medical Crohn's colitis. I sit on the board of the Lawfare Project. I know people in theater. I connect there. You have to get yourself out. You can't do it from in your office and in your home. And it's a big commitment. There's no question whatsoever. So this morning, I put an agreement on the record, got my client divorced virtually. It was a 2-year case. It was time to end it, and we did. Ran down to Cardozo Law School to teach a class on the art of negotiations. Came back here, and so happy to do this live interview with you. And then I've got back-to-back meetings. And then I'm going to go out tonight. Last night I went out with a few judges and colleagues because we were talking about a program. You've got to put yourself out there, meet people, talk to people. The more you do, the more you get comfortable around people. And so it becomes second nature, and it's
Amazing.
easy. And it's easy. And if you need help, you can call me or Francesca or Nicole. But again, it takes commitment and hard work. The hard work is that you're putting yourself out there, and it is exhausting. There's no question whatsoever. But it's so beyond rewarding, and it gives you a platform that is unique and very often different from other people.
I'm just like sitting back. I'm just absorbing all of it because you are the real deal. I've watched you not only in People Magazine and with all of your accolades, Marilyn, but I've seen you in a room with all of your former clients who absolutely value and adore you and trust you. This is a master class right now. Anyone watching or watching the recording, this is a master class in business development and relationship building. Um, what you've done, Marilyn, what you've built, is something that I know a lot of people who are watching this would dream of having and aspire to have. So I just want to like quickly summarize and then let me know if you think that there's anything else. We've talked about hard work. We've talked about doing some of the work behind the scenes when no one's watching. We've really focused on relationships and how you build relationships and make it a natural part of your life to gain work, to build your business. Is there anything else besides those few things that you think has contributed to your absolute success?
So mentoring is really important, right? There are a lot of people that I admire, not just lawyers, but elsewhere. And I think it's always important to be surrounded by people that you can learn from. I think that's really important. And I've always had a philosophy: where are you going, and who are you taking with you? And what
Yes.
that means is, who am I helping, and how am I getting there as part of the succession so that they can advance? And mentoring on both ends are is really important. My mentoring, young lawyers or just young people in general, um, and also, having people, young people, find the right people that they can learn from. And that's tremendous. Not everybody has it in their life. Personally, my parents were the most loving, incredible people. But because they were not American, they didn't know the ins and outs of the system. They didn't know what was the best schools to go to, the Ivy League, which, by the way, I think means nothing. Mm. And why I say that is because if you are hardworking and you make yourself known, it doesn't matter what school you went to. I know people who went to Harvard, and all they can talk about in conversation is that they went to Harvard, but they haven't done anything since. And you can't hang on to the name because that credential doesn't really matter. It's what you've done since then that matters. So mentors can be everywhere and anywhere. Learn from people, talk to people, ask them, and they would be so happy to share with you. So I think there's so many things to take advantage of that people ought to do. So I just wanted to mention that last aspect.
And I think that what we're really saying here is, Marilyn, through all this, it's giving. You've been giving. So how has giving contributed to your success as well?
I consider myself very lucky. That giving has come back in so many ways, with beautiful kids, with grandchildren. I'm married 38 years. I have a great network of friends and family. I don't check, I gave, I got back. It's voluminous. And it's at the end of the day, you go to bed and you say, I did the best I could do and everything I could. There's nobody that I had a harsh word with. There's nobody that I hurt. I just do the best that I can do. And that giving becomes natural. And there's scientific research. Uh-huh. Actually, I have a very good friend, Deborah Norville, who wrote a book. There's scientific research that if you do kind acts physically, your body responds in a positive way. And I do believe that. You feel good. I thought this morning, it actually hit me. I come into the building every day. There's a lovely gentleman who has a cappuccino stand that's set up in our building. And every morning I go in, and as soon as he sees me, he's already making my cappuccino. The elevator guy who just walks around the lobby, he's African American, he's elderly. We exchange words every single day. Hi, how are you? How was your weekend? Great, you look good. I like your outfit. You walk away with just a nice feeling to start your day. It takes so little. It means so much, as opposed to, screaming and yelling and nasty. And my practice is aggressive. Yeah. But the best way and the most effective way is to speak just at this level. Make people lean in. You don't have to yell and scream because that becomes noise. Just lean in. Say what you have to say in a very laser focused way. People are going to listen. You don't have to raise your voice, but it pays to be kind, I think.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. People are probably taking notes. If you're not taking notes, you need a notepad and you need to go back and watch this. Marilyn, I could sit and I am so blessed to be able to sit with you and talk with you more. It's one of the most amazing things. And I guess you're giving back by mentoring me and Nicole. Before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you, what's one piece of advice that you would give to your old self who was just starting out in your practice? What advice would you give to yourself as a
what I said before? Don't let anything stop you. Just move forward. And sometimes you won't have a straight path. You'll have to go left. You may have to take a few steps back, make a right, but just continue to go straight. And you'll get to the right finishing line each and every time.
Wow. Oh, this was so amazing. Thank you. And I know you're so busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
Thank you. My pleasure. You look beautiful, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Okay. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We're here every Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye, honey. Bye.